say that the military wanted this. You know, it's like almost, if you consider this within our own planet, you don't know the mind of ants.
Yeah.
But no, man, with Jackie, man, like, you know, we was talking about that, getting back to that, actually, that this is actually nothing to do with the conspiracy, but there.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Bridging the Gap with Bill, Shy, Scooby, and me, Mac. As you can see, I am not doing it, Bill is not doing the intro today because guess what 2 days ago was? This man's birthday.
Oh,
Happy birthday,
thank
Bill.
you, I appreciate it, man. You know, I don't got no presents though, man. What's up, man?
Yeah,
no presents. Nobody ain't give me nothing.
This
man.
is a last minute.
This is the representation of my life, y'all.
Yeah, it was 2 days ago. I thought it was.
No, he's speaking in future tense.
Oh.
It's tomorrow. It's tomorrow for filming, but it's September
We film on
7th.
Sunday, so this is
so
like,
confused.
yeah, all right.
My bad.
No, it's all gravy. It's all gravy.
We gotta say, long live Mac Miller.
I was just about to say, tomorrow you're only allowed Tupac died on the 7th too, right?
No, he ain't down to say.
Y'all celebrate my life.
Yeah,
Let's not celebrate death.
Happy birthday, Bill.
Let's celebrate these people that died on
I
my
was just
birthday,
like- I was
man. Come on. Like,
You gotta listen to Bill Perry and Mac Miller all day on the 7th. That is the only thing you are allowed to listen to.
there it is, baby.
And Mr. BM shares the same birthday with
Yeah,
Bill.
that crazy cat, whoever he, wherever he comes from. Man.
But let's get right into, well, we gotta do socials first.
Oh yeah, make sure y'all get tuned in and tapped into all the social medias. I'm at Scooby the Kid 252, at Chef Mac 1523, at OsoShy11, at Bill_Perry. And make sure y'all get tuned in and tapped in because we all
At Bridge
got,
the Gap 77, you can get that a lot.
we all got great things coming. So make sure y'all tune in.
How are y'all doing this week?
Oh, doing fine. Had a really nice week celebrating with my brother. And so, yeah, I'm sure that the week is going to be really nice. As we said, we're in the future, in the past, in the present. So,
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
kind of in between right
So considering the circumstances, I'm glad to have made it to yet another birthday, and I'm glad to be productive and feeling vibrant. And just keep it short and sweet and simple.
Yeah, same over here. I've been like making more beats. I'm getting not locked in with them drums. I found out when you put the snare on the 2, that's the trick. You know what I'm saying? I know this like might be like basic knowledge, but I've been killing them with the snare on the 2 on my beats.
That's always on the 2. I mean, if you put the snare on the 1, that's
It doesn't
the way
make
to
sense.
kick.
Yeah.
Depending on the beat.
Unless you're
Depending on the
Kendrick
beat.
Lamar.
Yeah, and it depends on the beat too. Because you have those beats. You ever heard this kind of a drum beat? Y'all are gonna recognize it when I do it. That's when the kick is on the top.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Those guys, but anyway, we'll get there.
Yeah, that's too much music now.
Yeah. We're going somewhere else.
Yeah, but it's I'm blessed. You know what I'm saying? I'm having fun.
I'm doing good. I'm about to pop up a picture that I got my name on a menu at a place
I saw that.
I'm very proud of. And I've talked to the executive chef, and I'm getting my name on the menu 2 more times in the next 2 weeks.
Look at this guy. Look at this guy, man.
I'm very proud of that. You know, that's an achievement, especially at this place. They said that it normally takes 3 or 4 months for cooks to get their name on the menu.
Oh, wow.
And it took me a week
So
and a half.
remember, it's Chef Mac.
Yeah.
Chef Mac.
I am wearing my chef's coat. I quite literally got off work an hour ago and came here to do the podcast.
Hard work beats talent when talent don't work hard.
Yeah, and I've been running around filming my sci-fi flick all freaking day.
Yeah.
All right, so are we ready to get into it?
Yeah. I mean, considering what Friday is, September 11th, 9/11, let's talk conspiracies.
Conspiracy theories.
Yeah, conspiracy
We all
theories.
love checking them out. We try to add validity to the ones that feel like, that align up with our beliefs. Some may be real, some may be not. We're not really sure. That's why they're conspiracies. We
Yeah.
love to kind of just dive in.
Y'all two have vaguely talked about conspiracies on the show with the Flat Earthers episode.
Oh, yeah.
Because that is a conspiracy technically, and we talked the moon landing being fake and a couple.
Yeah,
of
those
other things
are 2 big whoppers that we've had extensive conversations on the show, like Max said. And the thing about conspiracy is it always tries to question what our eyes see, as it were, and that's kind of the good thing about conspiracy, that it allows us to kind of question what we see, but sometimes they run the gambit. But before we go there, as Mac was about to set up with 9/11.
9/11, yes. Jet fuel doesn't melt steel beams.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think that that's like, you know, it's interesting when you look at conspiracies and you just need to look at the facts that are happening. Because I don't know if you can necessarily consider, like, if you find something to be fact, is it still considered a conspiracy?
Well, see, the thing about conspiracy, it's a plot. And if that plot ends up having truth to it at the end game, as it were, like if by the end of this conspiracy, when you get to the end of the root of it, rather, you know, like if there's some puppeteer, as it were, a proverbial puppeteer that's, you know, got everybody going, you know, by the strings, as it were. And if there's truth to that, then it's no longer a conspiracy theory because now it's been validated. Like, for example, you know, they were, I think when it first initially was coming out about like the situation in Flint with the water stuff, and I think when it first was oozing out, you know, outside of those that lived there that knew the truth, I think some people were trying to fan the flames of that being a left wing, blah, 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 and this and that and the other, like a lot of stuff out there. And then, of course, as we all found out, it was truth to it.
Thanks.
So again, that became validated. And I don't know if, you know, I'm not a scholar on such things, but I think that, you know, makes it null and void in terms of it's no longer a conspiracy. It's now been proven fact.
It's true.
Yeah, it's true. You know what I'm saying? But now, say the moon landing.
Yeah.
The reason why something like that keeps spinning because the video that's supposed to exist, no one hasn't found it. So it's always like, well, where's that video?
Yeah.
Where's that video? But it's like, but if the video doesn't exist, it's always that constant spinning of like, you know what I'm saying? What came first, the chicken and the egg? There's supposed to be a video. The even crazier part of the theory is that you know, Stanley Kubrick directed a video showing the space landing.
This makes me sad.
Yeah, but I don't want to go too much into that because I want to flex on the 9/11 thing first because like what Mac was saying with the melting of the beams.
Stanley.
Yeah, I know that's crazy. We're gonna get into that.
I'm gonna pull it up because
My head just went.
I know. I shouldn't have spilled the beans on that, but I want to keep continuity. We're talking about 9/11.
Bohemian Grove, like if you want to,
No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Like if you know why would, if let's just say there is a conspiracy, why would they want to blow up the Twin Towers? So they want to go to war.
Okay.
Well,
so,
okay, wait, that's one thing I wanted to say. If it's a conspiracy, what's the end game and what was the purpose? Because we're still in Afghanistan now, we're still in Iraq now. So what was the purpose of 9/11 and killing all of these people? They have been getting sick ever since, getting, you know,
well,
that
see,
lung
now
is-
the conspiracy is that they wanted war because there's profit in war. And the defense system, defense program, you know, got all this inflated budget and stuff. And not to say that the military wanted this, you know, like wanted war in order to get funding. But the argument has been like, you know, of course they can go over there and get all that oil.
But what if it was something
and-
like they planned this and people took advantage of the moment?
Well, this is
Instead
what I'm saying. Like it's kind of getting to a thing where it's just
Instead
like,
of like, our president knew what was going on. That's really
but like looking in the moment and going, well, hey, we can flex
yeah.
back over there. I mean, George Bush is on record, George W. that is, saying, well, hey man, you know, that talking about Saddam, that guy did try to kill my daddy. In the middle of flexing and trying to find, we were still trying to get Osama at the time. We were still looking for him, and he happens to mention this little side factoid about Saddam, and it's just like, and you remember we got Saddam first.
Right, but-
We found Saddam before, you know, I think that was on George Bush's clock. That was
it
on
was
his clock.
Obama that got.
And
That guy, Osama, yes.
there's pictures of them eating dinner together though. So it's like how you go from eating a dinner.
Rumsfeld, who talked all that stuff. Donald Rumsfeld talked all that stuff about Saddam, and there's video footage of him shaking hands.
Well,
with
once
Saddam.
upon a time, he was something of a friend with America. And
He aligned with
went-
our ideals because he didn't like Russia.
Yeah,
Bottom
and
line.
he went against some things that we wanted him to do, and he's like, no, I'm going to go ahead and go after certain things in Libya and all that. So I guess America
Kuwait.
never forgave him for that. Kind of like how we never forgave Cuba. You know, I mean, things that happened in Cuba, we weren't even close to being born, but they still have problems.
And
with
you know, they made Obama seem like, well, some people tried to paint him as being bad because he was the first person to finally bridge that gap between us and them. You know, kind of like what Nixon years ago did with opening the doors to China, Well, Obama reopened the doors back up to Cuba and relaxed the sanctions and stuff like that, because people in Cuba were like driving in cars from the 50s and 60s because we weren't no longer sending stuff over there.
Damn, they right there too.
You know what I mean? And right there, man, right
90
there,
miles,
right by Florida,
90
man.
miles off the coast of Florida.
You know what I'm saying? They're right there, and we're playing
But,
these games with them.
If I'm not mistaken, it's kind of off topic. Castro was still the prime minister or dictator of Cuba until recently, wasn't he?
Well, he died with his
died,
power.
Yeah.
But now, I don't know
And
if there
his
was a
brother,
brother, right?
yeah.
His brother
but
came
from
in.
from Bay of Pigs, which was 63, to when he died not long ago.
He had power.
So like that's one of the big reasons why like the relationship never.
I watched this documentary, and we could go into maybe JFK conspiracies after talking about this, but like how like, you know, the mafia was down there in Cuba fucking destroying the community, you know, big casinos,
Well,
you know.
was-
And then Castro came in and said, fuck y'all, get the hell
And
out of
kicked
here.
him out.
And
And a lot of his people applauded that. But see, now, this is where it's hard for Americans to argue this point, because it's almost like we knew what was going on with apartheid in South Africa. But unless we actually live there, we can only go so far. You know what I'm saying? And you need a South African to tell you, man, this is like, you need a Black American to tell you about what's going on here, kind of thing. Like, so what I'm getting at is Cubans have a split about it.
Yeah.
You have Cubans that are like, Castro saved us from the infidel, you know, Americans. And then there are those that's like, no, man, when he implemented that socialistic way of being, you know, no, now we couldn't speak out and blah, blah, blah. And then they started coming over here in droves. There's a big Cuban community in Florida.
Scarface.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, all that kind of stuff. The refugee camps and stuff like that. And that really happened in the early 80s. That was a real deal, yeah.
They do that with just about everybody you see. I mean, you see that with Trump today, but you saw it with FDR back in, you know.
It goes, yeah, you're right. Come on, talk to him,
You know,
man.
because FDR like came in, New Deal. People were like, "Nah, that shit sucks."
Yeah, the New Deal. Oh, man, Mac, you did say you was going to be a history teacher, didn't you? Okay.
Yeah. And now a message from our sponsors. Man, I hope this podcast does good today, man. It's gonna be very good.
Too, man. Oh man, look at Scooby is always sleeping, man.
Man, he's always sleeping. Like, wake butt up, you happy little camper.
Man, what's going on with you, baby?
It was good, man. My neck is kind of hurting, bro, and I couldn't find a remote last night.
Oh, really? Huh.
Well, have you ever tried cherry blossom pillows?
Have you ever lost your remote on the couch?
Do you ever just need a spot to put your book in?
Do you ever just need a place to rest your head?
So if you need a pillow with a special pocket, Cherry Blossom Design has the right thing for you. Head on down to their Etsy store and use code BRIDGETHEGAP to get $5 off an order of 2 or more.
Back talking some real shit. I know that you getting that. A lot of people don't know about the New Deal and stuff and what it all played out to be. And it was supposed to be a savior of the economy. You know what I'm saying? And like, a lot of people say that the New Deal is what set up a lot of what would inevitably be the ghettos of the future.
Oh, shit.
You know, they were these low income housing situations. Now, mind you, all the stuff that played out, you know, you have to get into districts and the way funding were and all that, because everything has its own. Like, what made the fall of Detroit is different than the fall of Baltimore.
Yeah.
Economically, you know what I'm saying? And you have to get into each
And when
individual
ghettos first
thing.
started, it wasn't, Black people.
Yeah. Actually, it was poor white people.
It was like,
You know, and actually
Italians.
ghettos, as it were. No, believe it or not, ghettos actually started in Germany, man. They were throwing Jewish cats in, like,
I'm talking
not
about
throwing Jewish cats, but rather they were living in the ghettos. But yeah,
here, like
Germans,
like
Irish,
immigrants, essentially.
yeah, and immigrants, anybody that came into Ellis Island.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And but now, kind of getting back to our conspiracy thing and stuff. You know, what conspiracy are we fanning right now?
JFK.
Well, we can go anywhere now. I don't care.
JFK, because like one thing I found interesting about the whole JFK
that NASA
situation, that motherfucker was like sending reporters to who's the leader of Russia at that time? Putin?
No, man.
Khrushchev. He was sending people over there.
Khrushchev, right? I say Khrushchev.
The reporter was going over to Khrushchev's house with his daughters. And him and JFK were communicating back and forth because they weren't really allowed to communicate, through like the sanctions. It had to be two. So they was talking.
Well, take the time period. You're midst heights of the Cold War.
Exactly.
Yeah, man. The Red Scare and all that was still playing out. And now, mind you, when you talk about JFK, there's a lot of innuendo. It ain't just government. You got mafia innuendo because, Robert Kennedy was deporting a lot of those big heads in the mafia families.
The Rico statue.
And the Rico statue. The person that killed the man that killed JFK was a mob affiliate, Jack Ruby. Runs up on public television. Matter of fact, to this day, I don't think there's ever been an American assassination on television to that degree, outside of obviously JFK. But I don't know if JFK's assassination was televised. I think that was just footage that they obtained.
Yeah.
That was filmed.
Yeah,
but Jack Ruby, dude was coming out of the police department
live on TV.
and shot Lee Harvey Oswald right there. Pow! You know what I'm saying? And then he didn't get shot, right? He just got arrested in the moment. Jack Ruby.
He went to jail.
And then went to prison.
Yeah. And now if you think about when Lee Harvey Oswald was walking out of prison and the first time he was screaming Patsy in Italian.
I heard about that. I've actually never seen or know about that, but I've heard about that.
And he walking out like, Patsy.
And he says Patsy.
Yeah.
Well, I knew he himself was Russian and had Russian ties, and that's how they were able to paint the picture of him being the lone killer.
Lee Harvey Oswald was United States Marine.
Yeah, I mean, the guy was a sharpshooter. But see, the thing is, there's been a lot of the videos online talking about the way those shots have had to happen and the different angles of the shots, because there's an angle going this way. That final shot, one forward, back, and to the left, like Kevin Costner's in the movie, back and to the left, back and to the left. The movie JFK, I don't know if you're familiar with that scene. It was a really popular scene where he keeps putting emphasis on the back and to the left part, because it's like it takes away the other shot, because it's like if he's in one area, how the hell is he shooting like this?
Yeah, that makes sense.
He's going back and forward, but you're just shooting him from a goddamn book depository? His hand should just keep either going, like, you see him shoot his head, he goes forward, then you're shooting his body or something. There is no more shooting his head.
So, the first shot missed. The second shot hit him like lower back.
Okay.
So, when Kennedy goes forward, he's in pain. So when he comes up, he's like, he's not getting shot.
He's not getting shot, and then he gets shot.
Then he gets shot in the back of the head.
That one famous dude.
Yeah. So I think Lee Harvey Oswald was hired. I don't think he did. I mean,
hired?
Put it this way.
By whom though?
It doesn't matter. I think somebody.
Well, I mean, it doesn't matter, but we're fanning conspiracy.
If I'm gonna put money on it, I'm gonna say that Lyndon B. Johnson wanted to be president and hired him.
No, I've heard that. I've heard that.
We also got to put into the CIA and the FBI, because if we're going to talk about Cuba, we also have to talk about the conversations that happened when the leader of the FBI, cross-dressing dude,
Hoover.
And that's
pretty much he's the father of the FBI.
All right, so he's having conversations with the leaders of the mafia bosses in Chicago, talking about
poisoning Castro.
Yeah, they said, we want to shoot him up, and he said, no, we don't do that no more. That's what the leader of the mafia told him.
But the mafia suggested poison, though, didn't they?
Yeah, they suggested poison, but Hoover wanted them to go down there and shoot him up.
But see, again, now, what we're talking about, now, me personally, I have to admit, as far as I've heard that, but I don't know how much merit is to that. I don't know if that's a conspiracy or if that's something the government really did, discussed with the mafia. You know what I'm saying? Because that's a hell of a thing to say.
I'm pretty sure the conversations came out. We can fact check that in
the reason why it holds merit is because of the stronghold that the mafia had on Cuba and how close they were, and so I could see that. But see, I think right now it's still in the realms of conspiracy. I don't know if we have a fact that goes, hey, there's the conversation right there. Such and such talked to this government official, and they were plotting the
There were plans to kill Castro, to assassinate Castro.
I do know that, but was it,
no,
mafia sanctioned?
I don't know.
So let me say all that to say why I would put my money on the mafia is because the mafia has its hands in all of this. They see to benefit the most if JFK gets killed, because if JFK keeps going, their money's gonna stop. You know what I'm saying? And not only that, all this shit that's going on with the FBI and the CIA and how they moving all dirty.
You got to consider that there is a lot of different. If we're gonna completely fan the flames of conspiracy, as it were, we have to get broader, right? You know what I'm saying?
Take into consideration what happens not long after Kennedy was killed. Johnson is president, then Johnson sends troops to Vietnam.
Ooh, if Kennedy probably wouldn't have sent troops to Vietnam.
That could be argued ad infinitum.
I want to say something before you say Kennedy probably wouldn't. go watch a show on Hulu called 11/22/63. It's also a book written by Stephen King,
It's really dope.
and it's
I've
about
seen it.
it's about the Kennedy assassination. And like, I think that if they had stopped it, the world would have turned out very similar to the way that it shows, which is basically a wasteland.
But we shouldn't have been in Vietnam anyway. But
No, we shouldn't have.
Well, you know, the Vietnam War started in the 50s, actually, so, you know, it was going on for some time.
Just
and there's
like-
conspiracies to that. I've actually heard something as crazy as it was essentially a bet between a Rothschild and Howard Hughes. You know, like, that's how crazy these conspiracies go, because when you come down to it, you've actually mentioned this a while back on one of our shows about, like, when it comes to ending conflict, how it all comes down to sitting at a
Sitting
table.
at a table and talking.
Well, starting conflicts are the same fucking way.
Yep.
As far as the big ones, I'm not talking about gang lore. Even with the bigger gang stuff, there's still a sit down. There was a sit down before the St. Valentine's Day massacre.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
You know, it was sanctioned at a table somewhere. You know what I'm
something
saying?
I never knew was that Al Capone was in Florida when that happened. I never knew that. He was in Florida, and the Valentine's Day massacre happened in Chicago.
Why do I feel like I saw that in a movie somewhere?
I never knew that.
I don't know if
just
I
find
knew that as a
funny.
factoid or anything like that, but I mean, hey, we're talking about Capone. He could have called the shots from freaking China, man.
Yeah.
I mean, you know.
Yo, if you want to speak on Vietnam for a second too, like I've heard, I don't know if this is a conspiracy or not, but they were giving people LSD and sending them into war.
No, not necessarily LSD. It was a hallucinogenic. There's a movie called Jacob's Ladder that touches on this, and what it essentially was this psychotropic drug that supposedly enabled them from wanting to go to sleep. They were a 24-hour soldier. At least that's how the conspiracy goes.
Yeah.
And these guys wouldn't sleep, so they could ransack areas, still have the energy to go ransack another area when other soldiers are sleeping or trying to camp out. These type of soldiers were supposed to do that.
Yeah.
But it went incredibly wrong, and apparently it's supposed to be, again, a part of the conspiracy. These clandestine kept classified files where soldiers went crazy on each other.
Yo.
And there were units that killed each other, that in the modern terms we use the term friendly fire and these kind of things, that accidentally shoots one of our own. But no, these guys were like hacking each other up with, according to the theory, according to the conspiracy theory that these guys in the movie Jacob's Ladder, as far as that movie goes, I think it enhances the theory into a more factual deal where it actually names the actual drug, the hallucinogenic drug that was used on these troops. And I don't know if it was a volunteer situation or if they indirectly got access to it. Like they told them, like, take this pill, it's a vitamin or something, but it was actually this experimental shit. I don't know how it got in their system. But you may have to talk to Vietnam guys about that type of shit.
Correlating that to like the Kennedys and Robert Kennedy, there's a documentary I want to say on Netflix about how the guy that killed Robert Kennedy, they were feeding
Sirhan.
were giving him LSD,
I'm so glad you mentioned that because I wanted to mention something about that. No, go ahead.
and he was just like they say he was crazy, and then they say like, I don't know if you look up a video of what it looks like to trip LSD, how you shoot him like that?
Let me say it like this. Matter of fact, just, it's funny, that particular one, the guy that was actually holding Robert Kennedy when he died, he just actually died, I think, earlier this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Word.
Like
You
a
know-
Spanish guy or something like this.
This Sirhan's still alive though, too.
I know.
He's in some prison in
Yeah.
California. I don't know
Rotting
which
away
one.
in probably Leavenworth or some federal facility, I
I
imagine.
wonder if we can talk to him, like bridging the gap.
Oh, what would you want to ask him?
I don't know. Just like
Why'd you
Saying,
Why'd
why'd you kill one of the most greatest Americans that ever lived? I mean,
Maybe not me
Jesus.
want to ask him, but I do want to know. I'd watch that.
I couldn't. It's like years ago they showed Geraldo Rivera interviewed Charles Manson, and he thought he could handle it. And then eventually, it's Charles Manson, man. This guy knows how to get under your skin. And he just eventually started saying shit. And goddamn, Geraldo Rivera challenged him to a fight in the interview, man. Come on, man, you ain't so bad. But
ain't
see,
so bad.
Charles Manson got in there. Because Charles is a little guy. He can't physically, all of us can kick Charles's ass.
Yeah,
But
I would
psychologically,
love to
this
know
guy
somebody.
got in your damn head, man, and he got in fucking Geraldo's head. He got in your head, Geraldo.
Have y'all ever? It's a TV show called Mindhunter on Netflix.
I've heard of that.
It was
I've heard
so
of
freaking good, and like just the idea of going and talking to these people and how it helped them stop future serial killers, from doing what they were going to do by the information that they learned, because those people were so willing to give it up once they got caught. Like,
well, here's the thing about psychopathic serial killers: they love the attention. So like they get like Ted Bundy was so excited to talk about everybody.
The Night Stalker was too. We lived in LA during the Night Stalker.
Ooh.
Yeah, we were living there when that happened.
It's kind of a weird thing to say, but I'd love to.
Remember that shot? Do you remember when the Night Stalker was killing? You were probably
well, I remember you guys
sixth
talking
grade
about
and
it.
stuff, the
Yeah.
fifth grade. Richard Ramirez. And the thing was, guess how he got caught? A bunch of cholos, man, Mexican gangsters beat his ass. He tried to
He was
nab
a
some
devil
girl.
worshiper?
Yeah,
Like,
he was a
seriously?
Satanist. He had a pentagram in his hand and all this shit.
Wow.
But he tried
But
to grab
guess
some
what?
girl at the door.
He's dead. He died of cancer.
Richard Ramirez is dead?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Richard Ramirez died of cancer.
Whatever.
But that's like karma.
Hell yeah, he
You
died
know?
painfully.
Yeah, that's
If he died of
painful.
cancer, he died painfully.
Well, I had to say this really quick. I don't know if this is so much a conspiracy, but something that really bothers me, because the Kennedys, they have a place in my heart. But when I read about his story and just how he was, just
About
how
Robert?
Kennedy, how he was with people, he was just all kinds of people. He was.
But
he was
now,
well, hold on. He was
Okay,
really
okay.
there for them. But with that being said, okay, now he was in a hotel when he was murdered.
right.
Now he was supposed to go out another way.
I don't know the story. About
Yeah,
this.
he was supposed
Okay.
to go out another way. They changed their mind because
At the
something
last
was,
minute?
Yeah, because something was going on, and he went through the kitchen. So why was that guy in the kitchen ready to kill him?
Oh, see, Sirhan's smart. He
Was
caused
it-
the distraction. You said Robert, right?
Yeah.
So he caused the distraction.
I was just gonna say, I remember some
Alcatraz,
kind of distraction that was caused.
and then that caused him to run to the
Well,
kitchen.
it
Because he was
it
like
was
crowded
a
around about a
person.
lot of people when he was being shuffled away and stuff.
Yeah,
Right.
but it was a person that said, no, let's go this way. They made the decision. It wasn't like this group,
Right,
this
right.
person made the decision, oh, let's turn around and go this way.
What
I
was-
just find that kind of off.
Has
you know?
anyone ever picked Sirhan's head to find out why? Because I mean, like, we know why Hinckley shot Reagan and things like this, just pretty much for Jodie Foster in that regard. He was a fucking psychopath, man. And
He said that it's because of what Robert Kennedy was planning on doing in his country. It was some kind of,
I don't know where Sirhan was from.
I want to say Israel or Palestine, and it has something to do with what was going on with them, and he didn't like Robert's views on it, and he thought if he became president, and or at least that's the story.
It's
I
funny
think.
you were saying that about Robert because just
He was
like with
born in
all,
Jerusalem.
just like with all like conspiracies, even he has stuff that's out there. But this is kind of painting a different picture. But they talked about like him and his brother passing Marilyn Monroe around,
But okay,
and that's what made her go.
Well,
Hey, if you're gonna go there, we're going into conspiracy. That's what the topic
I
is.
saw stuff like that too, but I'm also like, we can't forget, because it's like, it's all about the Me Too moment. We can't forget, they were married with children.
That's what I'm saying.
She
President,
She was a single woman.
a president, and an attorney general.
Right. He
Jackie-
had like
oh,
9 kids.
Jackie
Robert
Kennedy
had,
is
like,
one of the
9.
most popular first ladies in history.
Yeah, she was bad. Like, she was
You know,
a
and
beautiful
got
woman, too.
it's so ironic that her
They're
and
the
Hillary
first
both.
couple. They're the first couple that slept in separate beds.
Ooh.
Guess who's the second? The administration right now. At least that's the conspiracy, the word
Oh,
going
yeah,
on.
I'm sure that ain't no conspiracy, man.
Have you,
She's gonna
have
sleep
you
with
seen
that
how she
fat
slaps his
bloody
hands?
bastard.
So I wouldn't.
A few times.
Yeah, I
There's about
wouldn't.
2-3 videos like
Yeah.
that. But no, man. With Jackie, man, like, we was talking about that. Getting back to that, this is actually nothing to do with the conspiracy, but there was a particular thing, if I remember right, about that footage. Y'all remember Jackie's the one that's trying to climb to the back of the car
To get the Secret Service, yeah.
Yeah, actually,
No,
I heard it was to get a piece of part of his head or some shit.
no. The Secret Service guy just recently spoke out. He said that she was trying to jump out of the car, and he told her, "Stay
to
down,
go
get
back
down."
in.
That's why, because he was the secret guy. I mean,
Isn't there a
Secret Service
movie
guy.
where Clint Eastwood played that dude, and he had like this whole regret about not being able to stop JFK from being killed, and he was supposed to have played the guy that told
I was just about to
Jackie
say
on
that.
that
That's that
Kennedy
guy.
to go back.
Yeah, he has that regret in real life.
But it's just like, dude, no one could have stopped that. Like, unless you wanted to be the one to take the bullet, you were not going to stop that.
They're trained to take the bullet.
Well, they're trained, but you know what I'm saying? A situation like
like
that. Matter of fact, I think that was the last time that a president was in a convertible, because after that, they caught Reagan on the street at a corner.
Yeah.
I was a kid. I remember that literally on the news because, you know, everybody was wondering, was he going to survive and shit?
He
He
was
survived.
just on the corner.
Dude was what they were about to. He was about to get in his car, but then right after he got shot, they shuffled him in the car real fast. It stayed on the news all fucking day, man. That's all you kept seeing was Reagan getting shot over and over and over and over and over again.
Yeah, that whole story about the guy killing Reagan, or
He didn't act that time.
attempting to kill Reagan, is so stupid. Because this guy was like genuinely thought Jodie Foster wanted him to kill
That's what I'm
Reagan.
saying. He was out there, man. Like,
Okay, so you guys gotta watch chapter 27. Have you ever seen that?
no, you can get
It's
into it.
about the guy that shot. No, I'm sorry, I'm getting my people mixed up. This guy shot John Lennon.
Oh.
Yeah,
He was
never mind.
Oh, what's his last name? Look it up right quick. Because Hinckley is associated with one of those two, and I
And
don't
he
want to
wanted
mix it.
to
I think
kill a
Hinckley
whole
is
bunch of
Reagan,
people.
and that the motherfucker
the guy who killed John Lennon is Mark David Chapman.
Chapman.
That's it.
Piece of fucking shit.
Yeah.
You ever notice this as a conspiracy theory? You ever notice when you assassinate someone, you go by all three of your names? Mark
Lee
David
Harvey
Chapman.
Oswald, John Wilkes Booth.
You know completely who
all
they are.
names. James Earl Ray, you know, shooting MLK, you know, they always go by all three.
Look who killed
But,
Lincoln.
John Wilkes Booth.
John Wilkes Booth, you know, and not just John Booth. You got to put the Wilkes in there. We want everyone to know your whole name. Like if I kill someone, it's gonna be Billy Perry Jr. You know, not Bill Perry, not all these little things I be with it not be. It's gonna be Billy Perry Jr. assassinated such and such. Like, you know what I'm saying? My full fucking name. You know.
Okay, so real quick while we're on this Kennedy thing, there's something I saw a long time ago which I just found
Let me
again.
go into something after this.
Okay. It's the coincidences between the Kennedy and the Lincoln assassination.
Oh, I've seen this.
Both of them had 7 letters in their last name.
Mhm.
Both of them were the second child in their family. Both of them married a woman in his 30s, and the woman was in her 20s. Lincoln was elected to the House in 1846, and JFK was in 1946. You know, it's a lot of different
Holy
things.
crap! They both were shot in the head.
Both of them were shot in the head.
The back of the head specifically, right? If I'm not mistaken.
They're both two of the only presidents that really helped with civil rights.
Oh my God! Let's keep going. Oh my gosh! Oh no! I already see one big difference though. Lincoln was really tall and he had a beard, and Kennedy loved being shaved. I don't even think there's an image of Kennedy with a mustache. I don't even think he has a 5 o'clock shadow in any pictures.
But
You were that dude.
this
He
is
was
my
that dude.
This is my favorite one. Lincoln was killed in the Ford's Theater. Kennedy was shot in a Lincoln made by Ford.
Oh wow!
Yeah, that's
that,
guy.
That's sitting around smoking a lot of bongs and hitting a lot of bong reps and going, man, you know what? By the way, whoa, dude, did you see this one?
Yeah. That's like that.
Lincoln's
song.
secretary was Kennedy, and Kennedy's secretary was Lincoln.
Oh, okay. Now the Cosmos is trying to like make jokes here. Come on, I mean, really?
Both of them had a vice president named Johnson, Andrew and
Lyndon.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, stop it already, man! What is going on? That is. Oh, I got one, but you can almost chalk this to anyone. But I find it scientifically interesting. Stephen Hawking was born exactly 300 years to the day after Copernicus, or something like this.
It's either him or Newton. I don't remember.
Something like
I
that.
know it
I
was
thought
one
that
of
was
them, too.
cool because it's like considering the leap in time as well as where we, you know, the both of them took us, you know, about science and such. It's like
The last
damn.
one that I have though is it's another one of them like the Forge Theater. Well, where did I just?
I share a birthday with Corbin Burnson. I find that conspiracy really.
Booth shot Lincoln in a theater and then escaped to a warehouse. Oswald shot Kennedy from a warehouse.
And escaped to a
and then
theater.
escaped to a
I
theater.
knew it.
Oh, interesting enough, if I'm not mistaken, John Wilkes Booth, didn't he break or injure his leg when he
Yeah,
moved off the balcony?
Yeah, I don't remember what he said.
The only thing that would really make that really
Six Super
serendipitous if we could find out if Lee Harvey Oswald did any acting. then it would just be like, okay, I am fucking done. Because, you know, John Wilkes Booth was an actor.
He was an actor.
If
That
Lee
guy-
Harvey
that's why he
Oswald
was-
did any kind of like theater in high school, I'm just like, I'll be done. I'll be done.
Shit, I was born on the day Julius Caesar was killed.
Oh my god, this fucking conspiracy.
And like,
Yeah, because
oh
he
my
plans
God.
on being Caesar, y'all. So, you know,
we're not getting killed.
but he doesn't want to get stabbed to death by Brutus. Yeah, watch your back, homeboy. Watch your back.
See that? Hey, Bill, that's where I got my character.
Ah! Say Brutus is already in the making. Shit.
I want to just say something about you mentioned John Lennon, and there's a comedian. Man, he just died. He had a big gray beard, black guy. Damn.
Dick Gregory.
Dick Gregory. Fuck yeah. I don't know why I want to say Booger. I was thinking Booger T. Washington for some reason, but it's Dick Gregory.
That's
But-
way back.
I don't know why that was where I was going with it. But he said that, like, you know, he had this prayer book, and John Lennon and Yoko Ono was up in a hotel somewhere, and like they was just fucked up on drugs. And the label sent Dick Gregory to the hotel room, and like they prayed for him and got John Lennon and Yoko clean and gave him this prayer book, and that's where the lyrics for Imagine came from, with that prayer book.
Well, I know apparently, I think there's truth to this. He wrote the lyrics on like the piece of paper or whatever that the hotel gives you for Imagine or something. I think I've seen that somewhere.
That's why.
But if you consider what you're saying, you know, in the heat of the moment, writing the lyrics down, being inspired and stuff like that.
I think
That was the one song that actually got me into John Lennon specifically,
too.
because, you know, I mean, the Beatles had broke up just, I think, 2 years before I was born, so it was all this aftermath kind of thing, you know, and so I didn't grow up knowing their heyday, but when they individually was breaking off and stuff, like, you know, Paul McCartney paired up with like Stevie
Billy.
Wonder. And,
We love Say,
you know,
Say.
say.
Wait, that was Michael
don't you
Jackson,
want-
wasn't it?
Well, Michael Jackson was say, and
Ebony
Stevie
and
was
Ivory.
Ebony and Ivory.
That's right.
You know, and Paul reintroduced himself to a whole new generation like ourselves. John, though, Imagine. That was that one song where they would come on, you know, you would pause because you knew you could, like, oh, I'm gonna get emotional. Like, it was
Wait,
that.
which one?
Imagine by John Lennon. That's the one song when I hear the moment I hear that piano, it's like, okay, I gotta sit. I'm gonna cry probably. You know, yes, it's gonna be embarrassing. You know, it's when I'm like Sade. Like I can't listen to Sade. You know what I'm saying? Without like going there. That may be a conspiracy. How come Bill can't listen to Sade without crying? Is there a link?
Yeah, I can't listen to Picture by Sheryl Crow and Kid Rock without crying.
You can't listen to Kid Rock without crying? Kid Rock, you making this man cry over here. Man, what you doing, Kid Rock? Damn, when Kid Rock made this man cry. That's a whole nother era, man. Because, like, I'm trying to think, is there a song out there that Kid Rock would make me go, God,
Or say Run
damn.
DMC.
Yeah, it's more
Run
Sheryl
DMC don't
Crow.
make me cry. Ain't a song Run DMC ever make me cry. Dumb girl, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? You be illin'. No, that ain't gonna put you in tears.
Hey, but some
That ain't gonna put you in tears.
Fucking.
Now Tupac's Dear Mama is a tearjerker. You know, even when you was a crack fiend, mama. Oh, Tupac, God damn it. But now, like,
Brenda's Got a Baby gets me.
Brenda's Got a Baby it can be that.
Okay,
it ain't
since
for that
you
for me
guys-
personally, but I probably is for a lot of young girls. You know what I'm saying?
Since you guys are talking about Tupac,
The conspiracy is Tupac still alive,
Segue.
living with Elvis Presley in Hawaii.
So I'll say this, you know, it's
Before we do this, I found the picture I was trying to show y'all earlier about Stanley Kubrick. doing
We
the
all
moon
know
landing.
the moon landing was staged. It was filmed by Stanley Kubrick. However, it cost an insane amount of money as Kubrick was a perfectionist and demanded they film on location. Yes, for the win, baby.
That was a good one.
Yes, that was great. That was great. Yeah, for all you flat earthers, just to, you know, I always find a way to fuck with y'all. I don't know why, I just do.
Stop shitting your pants for one thing.
Yeah, do not shit in your pants because it started in your potty training years. And then after we get past that point, because that's what I explained. Yeah, it was in their potty training years. For some reason, they couldn't see the shit as being like, you know, third dimension. They saw it as flat. And then it messed them up and they saw the world as flat. And the world is not flat, it's right. It started in the potty training
I
years.
think their brains may be flat.
You know,
Like
I mean, oh no, one of the greatest things I saw, somebody said that, and they didn't even realize this when they tweeted this. They were like, somebody just finally proved that the earth is flat and we're going to spread this news around the world. I was like, yes. Spread it around that flat earth of yours. You know what I'm saying? I was just like, I am so done.
So with the Tupac though, like I was grounded, right? And so I was at my stepmom's house. I had the upstairs room, you know what I'm saying? Before I had dreams of being a rapper, I was just like Lil Wayne, even some Mac Miller, Kid Rock, Eminem, but mostly like I wasn't even listening to music. I got into these conspiracy theories about Tupac. And like but when you get into the conspiracy theories about Tupac, you can't get into those without like watching the interviews and like, seeing him 17 years old. I'm 17 years old, like, oh shit. Like, a little younger, I was probably like 15 years old, more or less. But, see him in high school young, and then you see him, like, the progression of him grow, and, like, what he was trying to say and what he was trying to do, turned me on to his music. Like, influenced me so much about, like, how hip-hop, it influenced me so much, and it started off a conspiracy. I don't believe that Tupac's still alive today, if you want to believe that you do. But it was crazy to me how that conspiracy could really...
it's interesting because, listening to you say that, when we were growing up, rappers weren't dying and stuff like that. So there wasn't conspiracies and stuff like that. So, your generation, as y'all started coming up, there was all these conspiracies about, who or why or if people were killed and all this kind of stuff. And it started with them, Tupac and Biggie in particular. And matter of fact, they just arrested his people as of recently. They got some alleged people that are suspected to be involved. Yeah, that's been fairly recently. And but just overall, I think just to kind of generalize, as it were, to kind of take it to a broader place with all the people that they say are still alive, Elvis and so on and so forth. There's a component of it where I think just people just don't. They think that these people are above the average life. Like, no, they can't be dead. Not from something as simple as an overdose or a plane wreck or a car wreck. No, not this individual. Yeah. They're still alive. There's no way that Tupac got just shot to death. Yeah, it's this kind of denial. So create this kind of like lure where it's just like, well, that's a little bit more plausible for me or for whomever to assume that Tupac is still somewhere out there when you don't even see his own mother or anybody in his family going and say, hey, yeah, we suspect this too. We're going to investigate this thoroughly and find out if my son or she's dead.
Sad and not fair.
It isn't fair to the family. I would hate that if someone Shy, if you passed and motherfuckers are out there like, no, Shy's still living in France somewhere. I would look that motherfucker up. I'd be that motherfucker online, like every single troll. I would be finding out addresses so I can terminate each one of them. I'm like, motherfucker, I buried my sister. You gonna say that he's still man? I would be on a manhunt for killing trolls. I'm letting y'all know right now. Do you not ever, man? Goddamn, because that's hurtful. That is hurtful, man. Yeah. I mean, think of them, y'all's brothers. You would hate to hear some conspiracy that, Scoob's still alive somewhere, and you may have actually been the last person to hold him when he died.
Yeah. See,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That's a good one.
But see, I thought for like the first week after Mac Miller died, I thought it was gonna be a whole I thought it was gonna be stunt. I mean, his last video was him in a casket buried alive. I'm like, there ain't no fucking way.
Yeah, Scooby showed me that video.
Like, I'm like, that man's gonna pop out the casket in a pink suit.
But that's the thing, right?
That would have pissed a lot of people off.
Nobody in pop culture, to my understanding, has ever faked their death.
And that's what the interesting.
And that's because there's a lot of connotations to that with the fan base. First off, that nobody would be willing to want to do that. I would imagine. Even if you are, say, Tupac, Mac Miller, Elvis, anybody like this, that they fan those flames of conspiracy.
But here's the thing, before you say that, how do we know that they haven't faked their death? If they've never been caught.
If they faked their death, yeah, how would you know otherwise? And therein lies the conspiracy.
And now the thing about the Tupac one that really had just got me rolling on.
Didn't he change his last title to Machiavelli?
Machiavelli, that came out after he died, and there was the whole Machiavelli theory, and then
they got to fake his death.
And Pac was a smart individual.
Let me tell y'all something like this, and I'm going to say this as frank as I possibly can without trying to be offensive, but he did not fake his death. And I'm just going to say, I've talked about this a lot, but I'm just going to simplify it like that because, it's not fair to his family. It's not fair to anyone who loved him. I saw the funeral where Tretch was reflecting on that man's death. If that man had an inkling that Tupac was somewhere, alive. The emotion I saw come from out of Tretch, from Naughty by Nature, you know, he was just expanding. It was, of all the people I saw speak at his funeral, that Tretch's is the one that really stood out for me. And no, man, you know. But again, to be fair, without getting all like, you know, melancholy here, we're talking about conspiracy theories here. So, you know, we have to fan the flames.
And how impactful they can be on someone's, especially somebody's young ideals and how they're living things.
Like you said, you got opened up to Tupac through the theories more so than the music, and then you discovered the music.
Yeah, and still to this day, I would rather go put on a Tupac interview most of the time than listen to a Tupac song. You know what I'm saying?
I have to admit, I wouldn't say so much conspiracy, but there is an allure about things that attract you to things. Like, you know, we all wonder what really went on with the JFK thing.
My favorite points in history are the points that are unsolved.
But
yeah, there's some ambiguity to it, to where it's just like it's not as concrete. Like, for example, when I was growing up, and Shaq can attest to this and stuff, coming up in the times that we did with high school, Vietnam was never clearly sound in why we were there.
Yeah.
Like when we would get to that part or that chapter in history books and stuff like that, it was tragic that a lot of lives is lost. But outside of like World War II, it was definitive. You know, we had to stop the Nazis. Da, 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 da. You know, World War I. But when it got to like around talking about Vietnam, there was this ambiguity and conspiracy. You know, like it was just like we knew there was a lot of lives lost. But I'm like, but what were we? You know, outside of fighting the so-called, you know, communism. But you know, like Russia and America wasn't fighting each other on that soil. We were just sending them supplies on either side. You know what I'm saying?
I asked my grandma about that because I came to that same conclusion. I was like, well, how did Vietnam start? My grandpa went two times to Vietnam.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he was a mailman.
He's a mailman.
And I don't know. My aunt was sitting right there. I don't know.
That's what I'm saying.
You know, it's just like how do you not know why your husband?
But see, now consider this. You know what the modern version of that's going to be with us? All, you know, I know me and Shai older than y'all, but we're all in the modern times. The Iraqi war.
Yep.
You know, because, you know, when the generation that are little kids now, when they start becoming adults and they start looking back and they're like, well, why were we in Iraq?
Probably.
You know, and then they're going to look online and you can imagine the plethora of information that'll be around by then. They're going to be like, we were just over there for oil?
Yeah.
Like, to secure that we had oil? Like, it wasn't even about the people. They killed the guy and they still were there? Like, what the... That's how these kids are going to look at it when they're adults.
And that's why I say conspiracy theories are like, you know, they're good and they're bad. Because, you know, you see how with the Tupac that influenced me. But then you could also get into like some of my homies that got into their whole conspiracies about the Illuminati and Jay-Z.
Oh, Illuminati.
Bro, they're scared to get 50 bands. They scared to get 50 bands because they got to sign their soul to the devil. Like, how you scared?
Illuminati stretches a gambit of theories out there, from the music industry to politics to governments around the world. And you know, the irony is the Illuminati was a religious sanctioned situation.
Yeah.
It wasn't about some world domination clandestine plan to position people in power. Like, and my man can look it up right now to validate what I'm saying. Like, it, you know, for those that have gotten caught up, because in the hip hop world, it's been so quick to go there.
Yeah.
Oh, look, with Jay-Z. That's not about Rockefeller, that's the Illuminati. And oh, when you see Beyonce do this and this is all this like, but the irony is that now the Illuminati is supposed to be considered some sort of like fanatical religious right-wing Christian thing or something. Now it's equated to devil stuff and Satanism. Like when they say Illuminati now they're imagining like horns and 3 6s and you know, and it's just like, so that lets you know that the theory has just imploded into itself.
Yep.
You know, it's just like, now it's not even sound because you took a group that's not even about what you're saying over here and put them together, and you're saying that's what's running everything. Two groups that don't even socialize with each other. You know, Satanists and Illuminati. I mean, come on.
You break down the conspiracy, it comes from the belief that you're giving false information. So you think that what the information that you were given is wrong. So you have to go out there and search for the right information. And like that, as a culture or a society, we live in that of we are fearful that we're getting false information 24/7 from all.
And I get that, but then when you get into things that when you start entertaining it's hard to really prove unless it gets into like a bigger thing. Like, you guys heard of the hollow Earth? Hollow Moon theory? that the moon is actually hollow in the inside, and there's actually a space station, an alien space station in the inside.
So the moon's basically
So how do you? It's a Death Star essentially. Our moon is a Death Star, y'all. And so, but like, okay, when you put that kind of conspiracy out there, you know, smoked enough weed to put something like that out there. But the thing is, from what you're saying, right? How do you disprove that?
You can't.
I'm gonna take a mission to the moon and go around, go into one of those craters. Oh no, there's nothing in here. I'll be back. You know what I'm saying? Let me go tell my boy right quick that this motherfucker ain't hollow.
And folks getting this false information causes them to do outlandish things, as we're seeing all throughout the news.
I'm gonna start one right now. There is life on what is it? Europa. There is life on Europa. And this is actually, you can almost put science behind this because there's water on the moon of Europa, which I think is one of the moons of Saturn or something like this. But it's one of those places that even Neil deGrasse Tyson himself has said he wants to plunge into that icy surface and go, because if there's water there, there is life of some kind. But now the conspiracy as it was is that the life is not simply like little small microbes, but it's, you know, intelligent, and there's things going on there, and it could be some Atlantis type of society, and da-da-da. And my whole thing is, now within our own solar system, if there's any society that's that grand, how the hell you ain't gonna take a trip to Earth by now? If you're like on the moon of Europa, and all of a sudden you're seeing satellites pass your damn planet, like, it's coming from there. Like, they're doing that? Well, shit, let's go. Because, I mean, think about how long we've been the Russians put Sputnik back up, you know, way the fuck back in the 50s or some shit. We've been putting satellites up there. And if you're like an intelligent life form that's on a moon that's within our solar orbit, and you got the ability to just fly around like we imagine, why the hell wouldn't you just say, hey man, let me go see what's going on Earth right quick? I mean, they're doing some remarkable shit. Didn't you see they landed something on a little nearby rock the other day? And I mean, I don't know. I'm just
So Bill, you just said something that I saw the other day, and it works really well. That is another meme that I saw. I can't find it anywhere, but it said the best way to piss conspiracy theorists off is to up their ante with conspiracy theories. It was like, so did you hear about that Lyndon B. Johnson shot Kennedy? The guy said, well, you still believe in Lyndon B. Johnson? That's what you just did,
I just upgraded them shits.
Like,
indeed.
If you think about that though, it's like, you know, all the movies about like, there's like one E.T. that maybe is the only alien movie where the alien comes and he's just kind of kicking shit, but we just try to like capture him and fuck them all up.
Well,
everything else
that
we just
does
get
happen
blasted.
with E.T. pretty much, yeah.
So like why like I mean, if I was an alien and I got a wisp of a radio satellite that like played a movie that showed like what they do to aliens, I wouldn't come here either. You know what I'm saying?
But see now, what makes that objective point of the human race, as it were, kind of, you know, a fallacy to some degree, is we assume to try to know the mind of aliens.
Yeah.
No, you know, it's like almost, if you consider just within our own planet, we don't know the mind of ants.
Yeah.
I mean, the mind of an ant.
We don't know our own.
You know what I'm saying? And we're still trying to understand our own brain. So a lot of our hypothesis on, like, when we assume, like in our movies, that they'll come here. Hell, even my own sci-fi movie, I'm doing the same fucking thing. I'm going off those same social cues, I admit. But the idea that they want to come here and hoard and conquer because that's something that's within us. Well, if I had that kind of power and went to another world, that's exactly what I would do. You know, as a collective, you know, we assume that's what we would do. We go and conquer.
Talking about what you just said, this clip from Doctor Who that
Face huggers.
Oh, you know, Alien. The horror movie Alien.
There's a horror movie called Alien. That's really offensive. No wonder everyone keeps invading you.
So y'all have seen that as they're seeing it.
That's funny. That's good. But you know, and even running even further, right? Like, all right, if we're going to get into a more galactic perspective, they say that the universe itself is simulated. Yeah. That, you know, we're a part of a program even beyond the Matrix thing, because with the Matrix, you can't unplug from that, and there is still an Earth. But like, no, all of this is a program
Go watch.
Everything is a simulation, and how would you know otherwise if all your senses tell you, well, hey, this is reality? I mean, no, this is not a dream.
So I'm gonna
You
throw
know,
out
how would you know?
a couple of things that you guys need to go watch. Is this movie on Hulu called The Mandela Effect? Which
I've heard of that.
It's another kind of conspiracy thing, but then I'm gonna bring it back to Doctor Who. But there's a couple episodes. There's one called Extremis. It plays with that exact thing, except this time it's an alien running a simulation. But it all has to do with like simulation and stuff, and is really interesting.
You seen Atlanta, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in the show Atlanta, there's this one scene where they're going to try to get into Drake's party, right? But this one girl is way too high for edible. She's outside talking to the guy that plays what's that actor's name that plays Paperboy's friend?
The tall dude, I don't remember. He's the guy from Us.
Us.
Or no, the other one that Jordan Peele did.
Get Out.
Get Out.
Get Out.
Yeah.
Oh, the main brother?
Nah, the one that goes first. He's wearing a top hat.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. But anyway, he's funny in the show. Keith Stanfield.
Stanfield, yeah.
He's really great actor.
So what's the conspiracy you're talking about though? School?
Oh, damn, I lost my train of thought.
The guy from Get Out.
Atlanta,
talking about
the
the show
simulation.
Atlanta. Yeah, the
So
simulation.
they were talking about the simulation and how there's this theory that there's a future that we're already in, right? And that's who's running the simulation on us to see how the history went and play it out. Maybe they have, they can go back and fix things or, whatever the case is, but that's, kind of what we're living in. And I take that to this shit called, or I was watching shit about therapists, and dude was talking about a dream, living in a dream, and he, Joey Badass and what's his name, Capital Steez, the dude jumped off a building, thought he was living in a dream, and like conspiracy theories and how it can fuck with you, you know what I'm saying? Like if you go
the
to
thing
that
about
point
the
with it,
alien stuff, it's funny because like with time travel, for example, I've heard the theory that like aliens, maybe they're us in the future, and those little moments and pockets, the reason why we can't keep up with the so-called speed is that they're not actually traveling in a linear fashion but interdimensionally, and they go back to their time period. But the way that they look, like we look different from the early humans.
Yeah,
If we went back and looked at, a Cro-Magnon man looked at us, that's and the way we look, would be alien. We would look like aliens to Cro-Magnon man, you know what I'm saying? And what do aliens look like to us? Big bug-eyed, insect-looking things, but maybe that's our future look. Yeah. Maybe that's where we're going to evolve to, and then we figured out time travel, we come back.
Or maybe we don't get our pinky toe.
And maybe that's why we don't stay here long as aliens. Why? The reason why we can't track them is like the so-called aliens are us.
Yeah.
Like 10,000 years from now, the way we look 10,000 years from now, and oh shit! Why I was saying that when I had another one in mind, another conspiracy theory along the lines with what you were saying about the simulation.
I want just kind of throwing this out. This is probably going to get bleeped or cut because we're going to steal this idea. We need to make like a movie or a TV show where it's like all about simulation theory. That right at the end, the main characters find out that they're in a simulation, look directly at the camera, and then run at the camera like they're trying to get out.
Oh, that's kind of like Harry Truman-esque.
Yeah.
Harry is right.
The Truman Show.
No, Harry Truman. I'm mentioning the president. Hey, Harry Truman. Y'all remember Harry Truman, that president that had the simulated life? No. The Truman Show, rather. Harry Truman, the simulated presidency.
But you've heard the conspiracy that Harry Truman has the Truman Show is really out there, but they just haven't aired it yet. It's coming 2021.
I don't know nothing about. So maybe we didn't. Whatever number Harry Truman was when he was president, maybe he didn't actually become president. You remember? Isn't he the one that helped the famous article where they thought Dewey was going to beat him? Yep. And it's like Dewey wins, but he actually won. He's holding. He actually lost, y'all. He actually lost. He didn't become president. Yeah, he actually runs the simulated world that we're all in right now.
So I want to bring up one, not necessarily a conspiracy, but it is something that I do like to talk about because it is kind of like ominous, kind of like the JFK thing. Alcatraz, 1963, the escape.
Oh yeah, if those guys survived,
I think they did. I don't know if you've ever. There's a documentary not too long
there's
ago.
a couple of them out there that I've seen.
They found a so-called picture of the Anglin brothers in Africa, not Africa,
Somewhere in Brazil.
Brazil, yeah. And like apparently their mother gets letters every year from letters and flowers every year from an unknown
You know,
person.
there is a bit of romanticism to that story, as it were. So,
Yeah.
like, you know, we all would like to imagine if they didn't hurt anyone. It's like the D.B. Cooper, the guy that jumped out of the plane.
Yeah.
And the romantic idea is like maybe he did escape and got away with it since we never found his body. What was the woman, Earnhardt?
Amelia Earhart.
Yeah, you know, they never found her plane when she
Yeah.
crashed. They never found the musician Glenn Miller, you know, when he crashed back in World War II, the jazz musician. The Loch Ness Monster.
Bigfoot.
You know, now Bigfoot, there was something that came out some years ago where these two guys actually played a prank that set that whole like thing back, where they supposedly found a Bigfoot and it made national news. And the guy that is like the main, I guess, you know, everyone talks to this guy when they get authentic Bigfoot information or whatever, you know.
Say it was real.
Yeah, and they got him to come out to say it, only to find out that they themselves debunked it on their local news in their area, and then that local news put it out there on the national level. But I remember Shy because I went over to Pop's house, and I was like, Pop, did you see the news? He's like, you know, see, son, I've been telling you all these years, you know. And then, of course, you know, we had that same conversation after the fact, and it's like, Pop, they fooled us, man. He's like, that was so stupid. They put like a bunch of like, I think, you know, like small animals like, you know, dead rabbits and stuff like that that have that bad smell that he smelled, because he talked about the smell, and he said he didn't get very close, but he observed it. He said the smell was authentic to what is known of a Bigfoot. And I mean, that poor guy, since then, I haven't seen him. Because not only did, I mean, it's like, okay, it was a joke for y'all, but it's like this guy, he taunts himself as being the dude, and you just tarnished him. Because he's like one of those guys that like, you know, he believes like that one footage where, you know, the peering back, you know, I think he peers off to his right or something like that. I've even heard more so that they think that Bigfoot was female. And even further yet, now we're getting into ancient alien kind of crazy shit. They think that Bigfoot could have been an alien. Now, you want to really fan the flames of fucking conspiracy theories, watch Ancient Alien. By the time you get through watching that, I mean, Mona Lisa would have been connected to the aliens in some form. There's a hint in the painting in the background somewhere. If you notice this little dot, that's actually an alien ship.
They
You
think
know,
that
talk to
Leonardo-
Socrates.
They think that Leonardo was abducted by aliens because there is like a 4-year gap where he doesn't do anything. And then all of a sudden he comes back, paints
With
the
all this
Mona Lisa.
knowledge,
You know, he starts making all these inventions and
You
stuff.
see, the thing about Socrates is he doesn't give enough credit to the imagination of the past.
Yeah.
He just think that everything they drew, they had seen it. He literally, there's this one thing I saw one time where he was like, you know, these people were drawing things that, you know, they didn't have cameras. They were drawing their life around them. They were depicting the things that they saw. And I'm like, okay, but this drawing over here of Anubis, this guy's got like an eagle head or something. So,
But
well,
that's hybrid.
with that hybrid, see, because the aliens, Socrates.
And now, a message from our sponsors.
Hey, you guys, you ever heard of Anchor? It's the easiest way to make a podcast.
No, I haven't. Is it free?
Yes, it is.
But are there creation tools that allow you to edit it on your phone or computer?
Yeah, there are.
But is there a way that we can spread this podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and Google Podcast?
Yeah, it does it for you. It allows you to make money with minimum listenership.
So if you haven't already, go to the Anchor app or anchor.fm to get started.
What they said. Smoke a joint with you, man, because I know you will be a great conversation. Be on the podcast, dude, because damn, conspiracy theories is your shit.
That must be one of the guys who mentioned aliens.
Yeah, he's the dude with the hairstyle.
Aliens
You know,
guy.
yeah, the alien, the Socrates.
Hey, so,
But I love you, Socrates. Keep coming up with crazy shows. I have all your DVDs, goddammit.
so like my grandma and them, you know, if we're going to talk about kind of conspiracies like ghosts and aliens, you know, I think we might have touched on that in
Ghosts.
another podcast.
Now, Ghost is an interesting one because it's not so much as it is a conspiracy as it is if it exists.
See,
You know what I'm saying? It's not like we feel like the
government.
government is holding information about ghosts as they are aliens.
Shit, the way my grandma put it, she
I
used to
always
live
bring
on
the
this.
ghost theory or the ghost to my multiverse theory, which is a conspiracy.
Bringing it back to kind of other life, as it were,
Yeah.
interdimensional beings. I kind of went along those lines too.
Like, you know, my grandma ain't never been the type of person to like lie to me.
Oh
You
yeah.
know what I'm saying? Like, she always just said things, but she never really expound on it. But she said one time that a portal opened up in her house and aliens came out of that motherfucker.
You've told me this story before.
And she used to talk about ghosts in the house and like, you know, weird things used to happen, you know,
like when if you ever meet my grandma, it's like
How old is y'all's grandmother?
78-ish, I don't know.
So okay, there was an influx of
She reminds me a lot of your mom, actually. Like I get my grandma vibes off of your mom. If there's,
No, it makes sense, of course.
Like
Because I'm old enough to be your parent, so I mean, my parent would be your grandparent.
our grandma is one of them like she'll say stuff in a joking manner, but you know she's serious.
Well-
like one time a door opened, like slammed shut, and she said, "Stop that, Larry," which is our grandpa's name.
Oh shit.
Like it was.
Well, you know, Pop told us that one story about, I don't know if it was him or maybe Aunt Carol or something, about that house heaving, you know, breathing or something like that. It kind of heaved or something and had some picture in there that moved, blah, blah, blah. I was going to say about the alien thing though, you know, my dad had got this book some years ago called Communion. I think I mentioned this before in our alien show. And I think there was an influx of activity, as it were, during the 40s and 50s of alien or flying saucer sightings post Roswell.
There was one of the most
so
famous in Flora, Mississippi, I believe.
Yeah, there was a really, those guys that were like fishing or something, there was a really intense one there. But there's a lot of various pockets of the nation that have a lot of intense stories like that, and some movies have been made about it. But what I was going to essentially say is, like, considering that influx of time period, now we're talking about an era that people are not with attention seeking,
penny candy,
you know, like the way we are today. Like, you know, people will like literally make a fake video just to get some attention and say I saw an alien and shit, but it'd be some fake shit, and they'll make it just for the traction. Those people back in that era wasn't like that. So not to say that there weren't those that wouldn't elaborate on something too, you know, maybe be, I don't know,
scary,
like exaggerate the situation or whatever. But for all intents and purposes, you know, it's just like, but why would all these people say this? They didn't gain nothing. Yeah. They didn't gain nothing during the time to put their reputation on the line. They have jobs, they have communities that they're in, to say, I had an extraterrestrial experience. Right. Nobody ain't trying to say that shit and put themselves out there as, oh, that's that motherfucker said he saw aliens and shit. You know what I'm saying? Nobody likes to do that to themselves.
The way I took it when my grandma was telling me this stuff, it was like, you know, we ain't gotta talk about it, but just like, when it happened, don't be scared. You can't be scared. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that's all it was.
That's
like,
the bottom line. I agree with your grandma on that one.
That's exactly what she's like. She's just like, I'm gonna let you know that something could happen.
And don't fuck with
I'm gonna
shit.
say it like this, you know, being that I've been such a sci-fi guy and all these kind of things over the years, but I have to admit, you know, if I woke up and literally saw some big-eyed being,
I'd freak the fuck out.
Oh my God. I mean, you know, really think about that. Like, you know, people like just, they rule it off in the way we see it in movies from this, you know, kind of other place. They're like, no, you're asleep. You wake up and there's something that looks like a praying fucking mantis staring down at you, but you can't move because it has control of your psychological whatever the fucks, so and you're just...
Hey, then you chop it up to sleep paralysis, because that's what happens. Like, I used to suffer from sleep paralysis. I lived in, he lived in it too. If you go back to some of the old music, like it's very first, we called it the shop, and
Tin House.
Yeah, I had sleep paralysis because it was a freaky place in the wintertime. Because it'd get cold and like it's tin outside, so you'd hear tree branches scratching. So I'd wake up like not being able to move, thinking something was coming at me. Like,
you just couldn't move.
And like you try to scream, but you can't because your body's still asleep.
I know that feeling.
It's scary.
I had that feeling one time some years ago where I thought something was coming into my room. I was in that kind of half sleep, half dreams, awake, whatever that state is, meta state, whatever. But, you know, I couldn't react.
Yeah.
That was the scarier thing.
Like,
it wasn't even so much about whatever I thought shadowy thing was coming at me. It was the fact that whatever it is coming at me, I can't even move.
I'm sitting there like,
so whatever's coming, I got to deal with it, like kind of thing. And it was
in my
just
head, I'm screaming, like my mouth is moving, like I'm going, Mom, but it's just going.
You know, there's actually this is a movie called Serpent Under the Rainbow, based off of this drug that actually exists, that is made, I don't know, somewhere maybe in Africa or something.
It was down in the islands.
Or in the islands.
Yeah, maybe Haiti.
And it was this drug that they could make where you had paralysis, but you had all your sensibilities. So in other words, you know, it was like you were dead. Your pulse rate and all that would go so down to the point where they just thought you were dead. But like a person could be poking at you, stabbing you, and all this. You feel everything, but you can't react. You're just looking at them. You could be buried that way. It was called zombieism.
I saw
because you're still alive.
After this, we all got to start wrapping it up.
I want to say one more thing.
But I watched a TV show. It's called Elementary. And it's like about the modern day Sherlock Holmes. And one of the serial killers used a drug like that. He would inject them in the back and then like torture them while they were still alive. And they'd be awake and like this man's cutting their tonsils out. He's just sitting there like this.
Yeah, but screaming in here,
mentally, yeah.
like, oh Jesus, yeah. And you know the fact that like you know there have been like real people that have done that, real serial killers and stuff like that. I think maybe H.H. Holmes could have been someone like that. I know he had like special rules.
H.H. Holmes is another conspiracy.
Oh, speaking of which, well, I don't know if it'd be too morbid, but a subject that I'd like to talk about one day: serial killers.
Hey, next episode. Next week.
Oh my God, I could go together. We're getting close to Halloween. It's apropos.
Yeah.
And just the last thing I want to say, you said mention about the aliens, DMT. You know, that's the drug your body makes it when you go to sleep. And people smoke it, and that's what they say, that they go to this new place and they see aliens that look like gnomes. And many people across the world have said that they've seen the same thing.
And I'll say one last thing too that I'd expand on. What if we go to sleep and that's actually our real reality? And this is the dream state.
You know, I used to think that when I went to sleep, my counterpart in China was waking up. And that's what my dream was about. It was about whatever he did throughout the day.
Hey, when you fan conspiracy, you can fan them all,
You don't
man.
miss the rapid fire.
I'm just taking a piss, man.
But like, you know, because, you know, all your senses are at play when you dream. You know, everything that tells you this is reality is at play. I can touch this and I feel it. I can see this, I can smell this, and so on and so forth. And, you know, all these senses are at play, yet it's a dream. You know, so it's just like, well, who's to say that that's not reality?
Have you ever
I'm a
heard
superhero.
of
and
lucid dreams, like where you
Yeah.
can control it?
Yeah.
Those are interesting things. But we do need to start wrapping it up and get into rapid fire. But we're gonna wait for Scooby over here, so we're just gonna sit in an awkward silence so he gets back.
I'm gonna get my 80s hip hop poses. 80s hip hop poses are the best, man. You know, we did all this shit. Oh, I don't know why everybody in the 80s felt like we had to do this. Why the deep thinker thing? You know, our lyrics was like bubblegum shit, but you know, we were W.E.B. Du Bois when we posed.
Okay, before we jump into rapid fire, I'm gonna do the thing that I forgot to do earlier. Contest for this week, which basically, if you don't know, we're gonna ask you a question. If we like it the best, this week, come up with the craziest conspiracy theory you can. I meant to do it right after Bill came up with his, but we got sidetracked. But come up with the craziest conspiracy theory you can. If we like it,
bologna is alien food.
if you like it, we'll give you a shout out in the next episode. But into rapid fire. First question. If you could talk to any president, who would it be?
Obama. JFK.
Oh gosh, Obama. But I was I was thinking, but you know, I would like to have a conversation with FDR too. But Obama.
There's so many good ones.
JFK for sure.
Yeah.
Just because it's like my favorite time period, it has to be either Washington or Adams or Jefferson, one of the first three.
One of the
Because
first
I love the like American Revolution. It's like my favorite period
I've
of
noticed that
history.
about you.
The next one. What is your favorite Halloween costume that you've ever done? Oh, speaking of which, we are doing a Halloween episode.
Oh yeah. Indeed.
I don't have an answer.
I would say it's the best, but it's probably the funniest. It was when Star Wars was coming back with the prequels, and I remember one Halloween back there where I called myself Darth Mysterium. I made up the costume myself and had a lightsaber, and I was
Maybe that's Mr. B as a little kid.
Yeah, yeah. I guess that And then I've been the Hulk before, but I just stuffed myself with a bunch of newspapers. Yeah.
I never really dressed up for Halloween, but like I was always like The one time I really dressed up, I was Scream.
I remember that.
The mask.
Yeah, like
Oh,
yeah, the mask
yeah.
that would
I've
be
actually
nice.
did the Screen guy before too. Yeah.
Probably my favorite. I was Jason one year.
Oh, I've been Jason. I forget. Thank you for saying that. Yeah, I've been Jason too. Forgot about that one.
Okay.
I actually want to be Jason this year.
For the next question, what is your least favorite beverage? We've asked for our most favorite. We
Yeah.
never said least.
Sure.
Oh gosh. God, I can't think of anything right now.
So that's just nasty the moment you put it in your mouth. You're like, man, I ain't drinking this. I already know what I'm thinking. I
don't
got
know.
one.
Maybe give me an idea.
Prune juice. I
Okay,
can't
yeah, I
do
can see
prune
that.
juice. Oh no.
I wasn't even thinking in that direction, but sweet tea.
Sweet tea? You live in the South,
Yeah.
I
son.
hate sweet
Uh-oh.
tea.
For all you
I don't
Southerners,
like it
please
either.
don't
Look,
send us any hate
no,
mail.
sugar.
This
My
man,
mom
you know, I don't know what's going
Wait,
on.
wait.
Everyone knows it.
He's weird though. He also likes to eat pancakes with just butter, no syrup.
Yeah, I
Oh,
like sweet
interesting.
shit.
Yeah, that's different.
Like I said, 7-layer cake, yeah, sweet, but ain't shit sweet. Marathon track meat. Ooh.
Nice. That's not lying.
My least favorite is I'm gonna go the complete opposite of you is unsweet tea. And I do like hot like green leaf tea, but like sweet tea that's meant to be like that's unsweet, it's just nasty. I don't
And if
like
there's any such thing, I've never seen it before, but if there's any such thing as watermelon juice of any kind,
Oh, I don't like.
There's a
cherry
watermelon
water.
soda.
A strong second
oh,
hate is
Jesus.
Coke.
Yeah, same for me. Strong second hate is Coke. I was gonna say Coca-Cola first.
They know they're messing with my emotions right now. They know how I feel about Coke, ladies and gentlemen.
Look, we don't have to say it.
Coke. Put that in the comments. Coke or Pepsi? Which one is
Pepsi.
better? And don't let their North Carolina roots and all
If you
this
say Coke,
influence
you gotta
over there.
unsubscribe.
Pepsi's got
You know what Coke is? Coke is so good, right? Like you go to a place and you order a Coke, and when they tell you it's Pepsi, there's that little disappointed feeling. you know what I mean? It kind of goes down like, okay, I'll settle.
It's the
Like,
opposite.
we only got Pepsi. Like that's what Pepsi is. And we all know this.
You know what I use Coke for? I got a little
Acid on
my
our battery, we
batteries.
pour it on there.
Right.
So check this out. You go to a party and there's Coke and Pepsi 2 liters. Pepsi's full of the whole party. You know what I'm saying? Coke is emptying down. They're asking, where's the other Coke 2 liter? We got Pepsi.
Hey, shit, y'all can like Coke all you want.
for
More
me.
Pepsi for us.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
My dad would like y'all. My dad loves Pepsi.
Yeah, it's so good.
And Dad, you're wrong too. What's wrong with you, Pop? You supposed to be all about
Mom
the Coke.
likes Coke, so.
Yeah, man, Mom, you know how Mom can cook, because Mom got real good palates. These guys only have been corrupted by Pepsi. The only thing I will agree with these guys is they're from the land of Bojangles and In-N-Out.
And
Not
Cookout.
In-N-Out, Cookout rather, Cookout.
Michael Jordan.
Oh, The conspiracy is, why do their chili cheeseburgers taste so good? What are they doing? Is it Soylent Green or what's going on?
And I just want to say this. I don't know what the new owner of the Cookout in Oxford is doing, but keep doing it because you're making your barbecue right instead of nasty like you used to.
Where at?
Cookout. Here.
Okay, there it
It's
is.
supposed to be like a vinegary type barbecue.
Ah.
They used to not make it like that. They started doing it right.
Oh, they're doing everything. Oh, God bless you, Cookout, for coming to our town. But we need a Bojangles.
We do need a Bojangles.
We need a chicken spot. We had Gus's chicken and it's gone. That's a conspiracy. That's a conspiracy.
Like, I want to know, you want to know the real conspiracy is? What are those people that go to Bojangles and sit in there at like 7 o'clock to like 9 o'clock in the morning and they just sit and have their little group discussions in the Bojangles?
That happens here at the McDonald's. Like there's
it's the
people that would
after-church
just,
thing.
they sit in the corner and they hand the
And
McDonald's
it's always
food
old
and-
people though.
Yeah, I mean, man, it's a social thing. It's a social club.
Yeah, it's just funny that we go in there. It's like,
Fast food social club.
oh God. Man, they be in there eating, bro. It's like,
Firefly.
Yeah.
They work with the lizard people that actually run the government.
Okay.
that's what I heard.
So for the last question, it's kind of a two-parter. The first part is where were you 2 years ago, and where do you see yourself 3 years from now?
2018.
2018.
2 years ago. Well, Shai, you want to go first?
You can go ahead.
Well, for me, it changed because 2 years ago I was married and now I'm divorced. Didn't see that coming. But But I was, as you can see, I'm in a good place. Where do I see myself going 2 years from now, considering we're in this volatile state? Or 3 years from now?
2023.
2023. Obviously, hoping to have been, well past this pandemic and that we would have figured things out. And as far as my personal life, it seems like I think I'm finding some place that I think I will surprisingly be in a place that's involving film in the future. That is becoming a part of my thing. I mean, I'm a music guy and it's always going to be there, but I'm really getting into film. So I think I'm going to be involved in film maybe a little bit
Get
deeper.
ready for a Zombie Studios Mysterious Entertainment collaboration soon. One of these days.
But anyway, there's me. I think I'm going to be involved in film a lot more than I imagined that I am now because of the things I'm doing. How about my sister?
Oh, let's see. 2 years ago,
2018.
2018. I think that's when I came out with Brand New Day.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. And it's still getting
Great
traction.
album.
Yeah.
I own it.
I'm actually going to have an interview with a Belgian magazine.
Oh.
I got to send him the copy. They're going to review it.
Belgium.
3 years from now, I hope to maybe be married and still, making music. And who knows, maybe even have a kid on the way. 3 years, it's like 3 years.
Yes. That's good. That's good.
And
That's
of
good.
course,
Makes me an uncle.
definitely music.
I like those plans.
Yeah.
How about Scooby?
Ooh, 2 years ago, I was young, wild, and motherfucking reckless, baby. You know what I'm saying? I had just met Bill.
This man was skinny too, I gotta
Real
say.
skinny, you know what I'm saying? I was not doing good things sometimes, But if it's Wednesday when this comes out, we was probably about to go to shut down the motherfucking penny bar.
Yeah.
Nah,
yeah.
I know, actually 2 years ago, on Wednesday, I know exactly what the fuck you were doing. This man, because Mac Miller had just
No, he died a year ago.
No, he died 2 years ago. He died in 2018.
No shit. No, he died.
He died in 2018.
Nah,
Trust me.
nah. Look it
I
up.
just looked it up
Yeah.
the other day. He died
Well,
in 2018.
I definitely went to
But this man-
it wasn't a Wednesday on this day, I would assume back to 2 years ago.
Let's say we're talking September 7th. We're talking tomorrow, which is 2 days ago for y'all. This man was passed out on the floor,
Yeah, right.
and I had just brought him some stir-fried ramen, and he was passed out on the floor.
I was living young, wild, and reckless, man.
Well, okay, now Scoob, I'm going to come to Scoob's back a little bit. He keeps saying the reckless part. Now, Young and Wild, perhaps.
I just released my new album.
But he had just released his new album. He had a lot of great ideas on hand that he actually saw to fruition. There was a video called Rockstar that he was plotting during that time. He was living in his studio, and he actually was living up to the name of who he continues to be. So I'll be the guy that kind of lets it be known that
Yeah, I
you're
was-
too goddamn.
Yeah, I wasn't
But
bad.
now,
It's like-
he could have corrected shit just like he needs to correct shit now.
I'll say that, like, right when if you're looking back 2 years ago and where I'm headed in 3 years, it's completely different. I got a girl now. I wasn't even thinking about that, but like, I'm more thinking about like structure and stability, and not just like, like when Mac died, and even before that, I was just like,
So you're considering the future.
Yeah, I wasn't back then. When you're young, you really don't consider the future. As much as like I thought about it, I had 5-year plans, but it was like, I was working so hard because I wanted everything that I put out just in case. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Today I ain't living like that, and in 3 years I plan to have my own house with a fucking baller ass studio in that bitch, and I plan to be making music solely off music. That's it. Like
Money solely off music.
making money solely off music, and hopefully doing shows on my tour. I hope to be fucking.
Hey,
I know.
that's right.
Not even hope. I will be booming. I put this into fruition. I'm gonna get at least 1.5 million streams in 2021. I put that on everything I love. 1.5 million
There
streams.
you go. Ambitious.
And that'll make back my budget. Everything else on that's cherry on top. So, 3 years, 2 years.
So, for me, 2 years ago was probably what I would consider the turning point in my young adult life. Because for the majority of like my coming up, I was like, I'm gonna be a United States history teacher for like high school. And then something that I didn't even know was gonna happen happened. I was promoted to a sous chef at Camp Lake Stevens, which ignited a passion I didn't know I had. And I went to my first ever video shoot with him, which is the video you were talking about, Rockstar.
Gotcha.
And that put into fruition to where I am today. Like everything started slowly falling into place from that day, I would say. So for me to end up being right here at this table, it wouldn't have happened if I hadn't went to the Rockstar video. Because I had just met you, I had just started getting like...
And even then, like, you know, Hunter was a really quiet individual at that time.
Because I had just met Bill 2018.
Yeah, we were fresh.
And I had just met Shy because Shy was coming to the penny bar. You know, like, and your whole
You did Shy in 2018?
Yeah,
Oh.
you, your mom, your dad never really came, but you and your mom would come to see Bill play all the time.
Me and him were living in that house on Chickasaw in 2018.
I think me, you, and the man.
Well, Shy came, well, the time Mom and Shy came to the Mo's was Shy's birthday, which was about 2 years ago, that particular birthday, I believe that was.
Shit.
You remember I had Galil and all, you know, Silas came.
I had hang out with Shy and your mom when you weren't even there one time. It was the most crazy experience of my life.
I can't speak on that, obviously. But yeah, because I was thinking of the time I was there, and that was Shy's birthday.
It was a good time, you know. I feel like,
and Shy's been there, of course, 3 times just to come see me and everything.
facts.
But 3 years from now, no matter what I'm doing, I'm going to be the best at it. I'm either going to be the most well-known United States history teacher in America, obviously. I'm either going to be the most well-known chef in America, or I'm going to be right at this man's side making all these music videos for a store.
There it is. You got to shoot for the top, man. Never underestimate yourself because, you know, we all have the potential for greatness, you know, and I encourage that, Mac. I appreciate because, you know, just like myself, I don't personally always really say these kinds of things, but I think people see the way I operate. I always try to put out quality stuff. And I operate with that motif. You know, I may not necessarily say it, but I'm operating with, like, when I'm putting this out there, I want it to be considered amongst the best.
Yo, it's like with that song, I'm about to sell out the garden, Rockstar, how it came to fruition. I was recording with my homie. He had a whole bunch of friends over there were playing me to the left, you know what I'm saying? He playing the beat, they trying to smoke. You know, I'm over there, that's when I write the lyrics. I'm about to sell out the garden. You know, and they don't even give a fuck. They don't even know that they was in the room when I wrote greatness. They don't even know, you know? And then I record the song with one of my homies. It gets half-ass done. You know what I'm saying? I pull Silas over, he plays some guitar on that motherfucker, and he's like, bro, that should be a single, right? And I start playing it at Mo's, and then people sing that shit back to me. You know what I'm saying?
And there it is. For the next episode, conspiracy theory on why they were trying to plot to stop Scooby from putting his Rockstar song.
Hey, maybe it was Azario the whole time.
There it is.
It's the Romans.
It's the Romans, y'all. Love, peace, y'all. Thank y'all for enjoying this
next
episode.
episode. Next episode, serial killers. I think we decided on it right now.
At Chef Mac 15
Behind the camera.
At O'Showshy 11. At Bill_Perry. At Bridge the Gap 77. Tune in, tap in.
Nice.
What is up, people? It is me, Chef Mac 1523, up again at the end of the episode. I just wanted to say, if you made it this far, make sure you like, subscribe, and ding on that notification bell so that you can get notified every time we upload. Hopefully we'll be uploading a few more things soon, some vlogs here and there, and a couple of things like that. I do want to get back into doing all that stuff. Thank you for making it this far. Contest, what's the craziest conspiracy theory you've ever seen? Everything is just popping up on my computer all of a sudden because I plugged my phone in. But yeah, you know, I'm enjoying. I really enjoyed editing this episode with the Illuminati. Oh god, I gotta do it again. And you know, the build.exe has stopped working, and you know, I had fun, made my day, and I laughed. Hopefully y'all did too. See you in the next episode.